Ms. Snelling, you just heard your attorney state that it's your desire to waive this matter to the Fayette County Grand Jury. You understood you got a right to have a preliminary hearing this morning, but it is your desire to waive this matter at this time. Yes. I know that you have posted in electronic monitoring, residing with parents, all of that's still in place, correct? Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We have brand new information to share with you this morning in the case against a former University of Kentucky cheerleader named Laken Snelling. So she is facing charges after her newborn baby was found dead in a trash bag inside of her closet. According to an affidavit, on August 27th, Snelling gave birth to a baby boy who fell out on the floor of her, fell on the floor of her bedroom around 4 a.m. Okay, she says that she didn't think that the baby was alive. Then she says she passed out and says she fell on top of the baby. When she awoke, the baby boy was turning blue and purple. She says she fell back to sleep, and when she woke up again around 7:30, she wrapped the baby in a towel and put the placenta in a Ziploc bag. She then put everything in a black trash bag and stashed it in her closet. Snelling then skipped class and went to McDonald's. When she was away, her roommates, who heard loud noises coming from the room when she was giving birth, went into her room and they found a blood-soaked towel on the floor. They then called 911. She was arrested last month and is charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Her case is heading to a grand jury after she waived her right to a preliminary hearing last week. So we're wondering, are more charges going to be added? Because remember, she's not facing murder charges, not facing manslaughter charges, no homicide charges whatsoever. She's just facing charges for what happened after the birth. So the abuse of the corpse after the fact, the obstruction of justice after the fact. But what about beforehand? What do these actions indicate? Let's bring in our legal eagles, attorneys John Phillips and Michael J. Brown. All right, let's talk about what comes next for Ms. Snelling. Michael, do you think more charges?
Good morning, Julie. Good morning, John. Absolutely, Julie. I think they're simply waiting for the medical examiner's report, the finality of that, to see if they can get her on a homicide. They absolutely want to go forward with a homicide. And some of the real important evidence that they have are the fact that these searches show that she's concealing the pregnancy, so she doesn't want anybody to know. And then you have these apparent photographs after or during the childbirth, which have apparently been deleted. So she's trying to hide that as well. So once they have the final autopsy report, and they can, I think, establish the cause of death and then attribute that potentially to the defendant, I think absolutely you'll see additional charges, including homicide, if not manslaughter, potentially murder as well.
Michael, thank you for that. So the affidavit did detail some of what they found from her phone. So let's kind of go through a little bit of this. The examination of the phone by Lexington police turned up several searches, including different things pertaining to pregnancy. Included evidence of concealed or hidden pregnancy. She also, this is really bizarre, took photos of herself while in labor, according to the affidavit. The affidavit also alleges there were images of her during labor, photos of her doing things that ordinary pregnant women should not be doing on their phone. John Phillips, I want to get your thoughts. Are some of these phone searches going to sink Laken Snelling?
Yes, you know, once you start getting into the mens rea, right? You're trying to get into the head of what she was thinking, why she did what she did, and this isn't the ordinary mom taking pictures or videos of the baby, you know, kind of making a punching bag out of the belly, so to speak, and you know, this childbirth process, and I was there for all three of mine being born, you know, is very painful and is very messy. And so where did all of that go? And I just don't buy the statement that, you know, and I know this is going to be a topic, I think, later, but who cut the umbilical cord? How was it cut? Where you know, how did all this go down? But, you know, you don't want to, we're not supposed to know any of that because this was supposed to have never have happened.
Right. Great points, John. And so police obviously interviewed Laken Snelling's roommates, and they all said that they had suspicions of her being pregnant, but that she never confirmed it to them. During one of the interviews, one of the residents of the home said that it was around 4 a.m. and one of the roommates sent around a message in this group chat saying she was hearing loud noises, sounded like something had fallen. Another roommate said she heard the noises too, and that whatever was causing them was so forceful, it knocked a picture off her wall. And then another roommate said the noises lasted for about an hour. Let's talk about what was going on. Does that sound like childbirth or maybe something more forceful? You know, the statement that she supposedly made about falling on the baby, I can't get past that, Michael J. Brown. I just can't unhear that statement. Your thoughts, please.
Julie, I don't know if necessarily that hour of loud noise and whatnot means that anything nefarious is happening because, you know, remember, she's by herself. There's no medical personnel. She doesn't have a significant other with her. So she could be going through the struggles of childbirth. So that in and of itself, I don't think is problematic. Because, and again, if there was those injuries noted on the child, I think we would have that homicide charge already. If that loud thud meant that there was a significant bruise or abrasion to the child causing the death, I think we would have been there already. I think we're waiting for more details from the autopsy report. And I think they're probably looking for some type of suffocation if I had to guess on this. And that's something that's going to take a little bit of time. And once they have that, again, I think they'll go forward with it.
That's a great theory, Michael. That would really support her statement. I mean, we think about that when she's saying she fell on top of the baby. So it sounds like she's saying the baby was born alive. Why she didn't call 911, go to a hospital, I have no idea. But yeah, suffocation, that's really interesting as a theory of how. Michael, in your experience with homicides, when you said this may take a little longer, pinpointing that cause of death, have you, in your experience, found that to be tougher to pinpoint?
Yeah, it is tough because you're dealing with a child, you're dealing with an infant, you're not dealing with additional information that's corroborative of that. I had a case with the father was ingesting marijuana-laced THC, and it had, I forgot what the extra component was, but it was a deadly component. He was blowing that into the face of the infant child, subsequently causing the death. And it just takes time. You have to have a real good toxicologist to be able to dive into that and extract those results, which could lead to that prosecution.